I see Kristaps Lešinskis here up. And well, by the way, in this front page, you can read about Kabada, also about this structure in Canvas, and for whom the tool is, and see even some videos, webinars that we have had, and who are our partners. So might be interesting, maybe, who created this tool. And then, well, you see, here is you can see this my business plans and public business plans. So if I was here for the first time, this part, my business plans, would have been empty. Now, since I've been here many times, and I've been working on different business plans, so I have several of them, most of them not finished, just for demonstration started, etc. Yeah, but from here is a message that everyone who has registered can set up many business plans. There are, at least for now, there are no limitations. So, well, you can see that I have here at least started some more than 20 business plans. You can store them here so that you can later return and work on them and continue, make some changes. And you can do it also in Teams. Well, if you make permission, if you give permission to someone else, so many people can work on the same business plan. So it is, I think, useful, as many business ideas are developed in teams. Yeah, so and then there are some there is this block called public business plans. You can see that already we have here 40 public business plans created by some people who were not well, I don't know, afraid to leave them for public visibility, so that people from everywhere can see them. Maybe someone gets attracted and wants to make some connection and say, well, your business plan is very interesting and good also for me. I know, well, maybe I can somehow participate in this project, as I have some experience. Well, you understand. So yes, sometimes maybe someone is looking for some partners. They say, well, here is my business plan, look at it, and if you are interested, we can cooperate. Yeah. Okay, but imagine that so you are brand new user here, and you have an emptiness here, and you say, well, but I have an idea and I want to create my business plan. I want to work on my idea. Okay, so you click the button called Create Plan, of course, and the system asks you, give the project name. So, well, let's give some name. Let it be something like January 26, I don't know, maybe. I have no better idea. You can make some cover image, that's not that important, but the system here will ask you select Nace code. So theoretically, you can build your business plan, your business model, and make financial projections and SWOT analysis also without selecting Nace code, just work on your business plan. But if you want to see industry data, and if you want to see evaluation of risks in the industry made by experts, so then really you have to select Nace code under which your idea with specific economic activity is placed in the Nace classificator. Let's take one, well, some kind of manufacturing of something. Let's take manufacture of food products, and let's imagine that it is something like, okay, manufacture of dairy products. So let's mention manufacture, okay, of ice cream, let it be, which is C1052. So you take it, the system knows the industry you are entering, and then you have to select country of operation of your business. So, well, I'll take Latvia, but there are all EU 27 countries that you can choose from. And the only language is English that can be used. So, and then you submit, and the new business plan is created for you. That is this one, January 26, 0% completed, and now you can start. Let me click on it. So it is empty now, but as you have specified not a code here, yes, so you can check industry data. Let's open industry data. You might remember that someone in Czech Republic wrote that sometimes it takes some minutes while the data are channeled from Eurostat, but now it took about 10 seconds. This is also my experience, typically something like 10, maybe 15 seconds it takes. And you get some industry data. Company survival rate for first 3 years in the industry in my country first. I can see it's 53.5%, up 6% from the previous year. I can imagine that in many cases, the person working in the system maybe does not come from some field of economics, management, and is not very familiar with these indicators. So that's why everywhere in the system we have these buttons with letter I on them, which is some kind of informative note, some kind of explanation what it is. Yeah. So also here you can get precise explanation of the indicator, sometimes saying also why it is important. Yeah. So you can get it and read it. I think it's this is especially what makes the tool very important in the learning process. Yes, for those who study something and they say, well, you know, for experienced entrepreneurs, perhaps there's no a big use of this. Yes, but for students especially, so they can, by the use of these I letters and the information provided under them, learn. So again, going further for how the tool can be used in higher education. Yeah, so perhaps we will discuss that by the use of it, they can learn some indicators and what they mean. Yes, by using the tool. Yeah, and then you have also this comparative, let's say, side of the statistics, as we provide not only what is the survival rate for the companies in the industry, but also what is the survival rate for first 3 years in all industries in your country, so that you can compare. For example, in this instance, we see that the survival rate in chosen industry is higher than in the whole economy for the new established companies. Yes, 53.5 against 46.5. And we added also these statistics about all industries in European Union, so that you can compare with a broader region area in all industries. So it provides some analytic information for the person starting business in the specific industry. Then comes some information which is put in the graphs about how big is the industry, measuring it by the number of enterprises in the industry over the time. and compared also with the total number of enterprises in the whole of the economy. And it is important because, for example, again, here you can see that the trend is growth of the number of the companies, but the same also is for the whole of the economy. So on one side you say, yeah, the number is growing, the industry is growing, at least when you look at the number of enterprises, but the same happens in the whole of the economy. So relatively it goes with a trend, yeah, and the relative growth is maybe not that big. Then the same goes for turnover over the time and gross investment over the time in the industry. Also very important, because this says something about the attractiveness of the industry for investors, either existing ones who reinvest in the industry or the new ones which are entering the industry. And then you get also some information about the employment in full time. Well, it's in general interesting information how many people are working in the industry, and also provides you some idea of maybe growing productivity. For example, if you say, okay, you see turnover and maybe some other indicators like value added are growing in the industry while the number of employees is decreasing. So obviously maybe there's some new technologies are arriving, replacing the labor force, and the labor productivity is increasing in the industry. But you can see that specified also here with a specific indicator, labor productivity. You can see how big it is, how it has changed from the previous year, how it has been changing over the last 10 years, and how it is changing relative to the productivity in the whole of the economy. Share of the personnel cost also important, because it is important that the new entrepreneur, when entering the industry, is already thinking about the cost structure. Especially it is going to be important when he or she arrives to the financial projections. And here we can see that in Latvia, in this industry, the intensity or share of the personnel cost is something about 24. Okay, we can maybe make a bigger corridor. Okay, at least somewhere 15 to 25%. So it is important information for the person. Otherwise, you know, sometimes we see that those who plan business, those who set up business plans, you say, okay, you will work in this industry of production of ice cream. Show me, please, your cost structure from financial projections. And we find that the person has envisaged to have like 50 or 60% of personnel costs in his or her business model. You say, well, it seems it will not work that way. Look at how the industry behaves from the perspective of cost structure. Perhaps you have to reconsider something in your inputs side and the structure. Yeah, so average personnel costs and persons employed in the industry and gross operating rate. So these are the indicators we selected. And of course, this is not the limit. Everyone can, through its own research, find many other indicators specific for particular business needs. And but at least these are the general ones which are provided by structural business statistics of Eurostat, and that we selected like a short list, which we consider to be important for new businessmen. So then industry risks is here. And as I said, we selected 13 risks and divided them in 3 groups: macro level risks, industry level risks, and company level risks. In this case, again, it has to be made clear that we speak about all companies in the industry. This is not precisely about your business model, your company, but for all companies in the industry. And what we did, we set up several task forces or teams of experts who were going through specific industries and made evaluation of two things related to specific kind of risk, that is, how likely it is that it might happen, and what will be the severity or impact factor on the business if it happens. And we use the scale of 1, 2, 3, well, saying low, medium, high. And as it is a classical approach in risk management. And of course, some kind of multiplication of those two or taking them together gives you some final result saying that in total, that kind of risk is low, medium, high, medium, high, yes, several answers possible. And it's not just evaluation. There are also some explanations here. If you click here, you can find that, well, the experts have provided some comments. In this case, as you see, when looking at political and legal risks, industry is being regulated by food safety regulations. Changes may occur. Yeah, and we also added some possible country-specific deviations because, as you know, the tool is built for 27 countries of European Union, and you know, we had to consider the whole EU. But sometimes we know that, and Maris was working on this, and he remembers very well that, you know, for example, when you come, the classical example for us was. For example, alcoholic drinks. And you say, well, in general, it's heavily regulated. Yes, likelihood quite high, political and legal impact on that, severity also high, but it might be very different in different countries. We know that, for example, in Scandinavia, regulation is very strict. Yeah, so, but in some southern, perhaps parts of the European Union is quite different. And that's why we say that in some use the scale of from 1 to 5, saying that 1 means it's the same everywhere. 2, well, some small differences might be between countries. And thus up to 5, which means it can be completely different in different countries, this kind of risk. And for example, here we see 4, which says that, yeah, the level and nature of these risks vary substantially from country to country. It has to be taken into account. Yeah. So, and in the same manner, for all different kind of risks here, also with explanation what this kind of risk means, again, yes, social, technological, environmental, etc. And here we used for the industry risks, many may read it by looking those who are well educated in management sciences, that we used Porter's 5 forces model, which can be used actually also considering some industry level risks. Yeah, so that there is some existing competition in the industry and risks related to that when you enter. Yes, and then potential competition or the risks that some new entrants can arrive and be very strong. Substitution possibilities of the products that are provided by the industry, and power of suppliers and power of buyers. Yeah, so that they can be the risk is that they can be so strong and can bargain everything and then set the rules, let's say, for you as an industry player, because it's very concentrated. For example, yes, the market of buyers, just 2 companies, and they dictate everything. And company level risks too, yes, human resource, tangible resource, process risks that might be in this industry. Yeah, again, some evaluation. For example, how likely it is and how severe it would be if some specific technological professionals are leaving the company. Will we find easily substitutes? How deadly it is for us if they are headhunted maybe by another companies. Yes, so that's just one of the examples. Okay, so these are first two parts, and but then you can return back to your business plan, and now you will really have to start to work on your business model and to create it by working on your business model canvas. Those 9 points that I mentioned before, and here they are put in this in the sequence which was proposed by Osterwalder, actually, that the most appropriate would be going in this sequence. But it doesn't matter that this is mandatory. You can jump from 1st to 7 and go back maybe, etc. So it's possible. It's up to your choice. But well, I will not go through all of them, but just to show how it works, because it works in a similar way in others. Maybe I can show one just to see. And the first one is value propositions. Value proposition. So what the value you will bring to the market. And once you consider what it means, value brought to the market. So of course, it derives to the idea of what is your product, what will be the product the buyer will receive. And that's why the system asks you here, add key product. And then you get in here, and first of all, you have to specify product name. Well, you do it according to what's your business idea. Let's say ABC, some kind of product. The system will ask you whether it is physical good or service. Okay, you specify, perhaps it's a physical good as it is about the processing or manufacturing. Yes, a short description. Here you can give some short description in a couple of sentences. I will not spend time on writing something, but you can, well, just to say for yourself or maybe for your team members some informative note related to the product. Then the system asks you to pick the price level that you intend to apply for the sale of products. 4 variants, 4 choices: free. Sometimes, yes, you provide some products for free. Maybe you get some revenues from ads in the platform, for example. That's possible. For that particular product, there will be some other products that will not be for free, that will be for market price or high-end price. Economy, market, high-end. Okay, I will put market. And then the question, there is another question asking you, okay, this is a product, but perhaps there are some other related products from which you can get some additional income related to this particular product. For example, if the product which I specified here, ABC, would have been would be some ice cream, as I picked the industry. So perhaps we can consider some delivery at home. Yes, so which means fees from another product here. Or maybe some, if we are a factory producing ice cream, maybe we can provide some service like courses on how to produce ice cream in our factory for some companies, for some Horeca companies or something like that. Yes, well, but you can skip if there are no other sources of income for this product. And then what you are asked for is, okay, typically in the business plan, when you are in the part of products, you start to describe the products and saying what are the features, what is attractive, what is different from others existing in the market, etc. But here you have a list, prepared list of those different potential characteristics that might be that you select and say, yes, this is for my product. And you have to select here up to 9 different features that may apply to your product. No, for example, it turns out that, yes, it is a fundamentally new product or service. Okay. Yes, has a different visual design. Good. Yeah, it is a result of research and development. Yes, we expect that our R&D lab will work, and then the product come out. So this is also specifics or feature of our product. It's safer to use, is more eco-friendly. Yeah, maybe aims to set a trend, and is a different variant of, is more customizable and is more comfortable and usable. I just took some random. The system will save all of that. Later on, you will see again what's a description of your product. Also, you will be able to print out the whole of the business plan, and all of that information will be saved. And what is also interesting in this part is that the system automatically creates some summary for this product, and according to specific algorithm based on what you entered here, analyzing the product features, they already provide you some summary of how your product looks like, saying that, okay, your product is with a market price. Okay, you specified it yourself, so it is. It is highly innovative and and with a premium quality. The system read it from what you picked here. Yeah, but says that there is no that the product is not differentiated for some reason. The system could not read that from the features you selected. Yeah, so maybe it helps again for some kind of information for you, and you can say that, oh well, this product is highly innovative with a premium quality, not differentiated with a market price. And then you simply save this product, and then you can add another one. In most cases, of course, in the business model, there will be more than just one product. So you can add one, another, and another. So you will have the list. It is important, again, here when you specify it in the next some chapters where you will be working further, you will find again some connection. For example, the next block is about the customer segments. And once you will start to fill out the customer segments, the system already will say, okay, you want to set up your and select customer segment, but for which good? Or for which value? Yes. So, and the first they say, okay, for the product ABC that you specified here. And if there will be more products, of course, the system will ask, okay, now please select customer segments for this product. Yeah. So you can maybe repeat the same customer segment for several products, but sometimes they might be different. Yeah. So, and also, of course, this information about products will be transferred to financial projections, where you will have to fill out sales projections. Yeah, because again, once you will start to fill out sales projections, you will be asked to fill out the row where it will be specified product ABC, how many units for what price you expect to sell in this or that month, so that we can calculate the incomes from sales of this specific product. So that's it. And in the same way, you are going through all these 9 blocks: customer segments, channels, relationships, revenue streams, key resources, key activities, partners, and cost structure, etc. So I think I will not go into all other 8 of them, but you understood the way how it works. And everyone can do it on your own, and then check what will be the predefined choices under each of them and how to move through it and to save and etc. So, but you can always, of course, go back and change something, if you rethink. So, SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis. Everybody, I believe, or most of us know what SWOT analysis is about. I already introduced a bit. And typically when people in organizations, existing ones or the ones which are only planned to be established, very often use for strategic planning purposes. Yeah, maybe the most popular strategic analysis tool back from 1960s when first this SWOT analysis framework emerged. And so again, very well known to everyone. How people in teams, in organizations, management teams work with this is that, at least from my experience and how I see it, it's been historically done. People sit around the table and they say, well, let's start writing. Maybe in some smaller groups, you consider strengths, your weaknesses, your threats, and lay them down. What is the difference here is that you don't have to think about what might be strengths or weaknesses on your own, because there is a list and you simply have to pick from the list. There was a specific method based on, let's say, some scientific approach, of course, and classification of what might be strengths in general and weaknesses for the companies based on what resources you have, what about your market and input side. Yes, and from all of those three directions you can get some more specific aspects that can make you strong or weak in the industry against other players in the industry. And you can go through this list and pick up from 3 to 6, so that again you are not exaggerating how strong you are in everything, yeah, but really focus on what makes you special, let's say. And also the same on the weakness side. Think about all these aspects and pick from 3 to 6. If you still believe that the list is incomplete, you can add item, no problem. You say, oh, those stupid guys from Kabada, they didn't find the place for this or that, which is most important strengths for me. Okay, write it down. It's possible to add an item. And the same system or approach is also for opportunities and threats. Again, you will find the list, go through it, and specify what is on one side and what is on the other side, opportunities and threats. And that's it. Again, if you say that something is missing that I consider being very important, so you can add yourself. Well, we believe that this can save time for the user if you compare with, let's say, traditional methods on how you typically prepare SWOT. So yeah, that's it. And then yes, and then finally, yeah, well, maybe here I want to say that once you prepare this business plan, maybe there might be this question: can you export the results? Will it only stay in the system forever? Can I get it out somehow? Can I export it? Yes, you can. Let me open one ready-made business plan here, which is finished. And imagine that the person is through the whole of the process, everything is done. So there is this button called export as. You can export it or download it as a doc file or PDF file if you want to add something. Yes, so of course then you could take doc file and you say, okay, the system has prepared for me it in Microsoft Word document, so I can add something in my words in the text and add. So where is it? Okay, so well, you can see it. So business canvas here from what you selected and wrote, and here is more of explanation coming, like for value proposition, you know, all this what you said about specific product is here. If you wish, you can write something in your computer, and so to make it more extensive, this business plan. But otherwise, all the specified issues are here, and then yeah, maybe you can show it to your partners and maybe financiers. Yeah, also SWOT analysis here. yes, prepared. Again, maybe you want to write something extra here. Okay, do it. And also the risk analysis part is here, you know, for the whole of the industry. So that's it. That's about the exporting and extracting of the content out of the system. But it stays also in the system, of course, so you can revisit. Yeah, and separately you will download the cash flow in Microsoft Excel file, which will be made ready after you go through the financial projections. Yes. So again, in here it is ready made already, so you can see the result. Here is a monthly balance of the cash flow, and here is a total balance. Yes. So, for example, in this case, we can see that somehow on the 7th month, the total balance of the cash flow becomes negative. So you obviously you have to reconsider something in your financial plan. Otherwise, right after the half year of the operations, you are empty with an empty account. And so I don't know what bank will say about that, but obviously it's some kind of disaster. Yeah, and here on the bottom you can see these financial projections part. So assets, fixed and variable costs, sales forecast, business startup investments, and cash flow that is generated by the system. So for example, if I open assets here for this ready-made business plan, so if you are just in the process, you wouldn't have had these numbers here, yes, but you would have will have these names here, yeah, because you have specified them in Canvas, yes, that you have some licenses as a resources that you will need and that will be your assets, and some transport vehicles like Mazais busiņš, or equipment like brew equipment and something else, and that you have specified also that you will not rent it but buy. Okay, so the system will ask you then please enter the numbers. Yes, we will automatically detect the VAT rate in your country. This is what the system does. And that's it. Yeah, so, and in the same manner also for everything else here, also for not customer segments, fixed and variable costs. So you will first work with fixed costs, then you can switch to variable costs. You have specified them again in business model Canvas. Again, you have to enter the numbers. You go through it. For the variable costs, it's a longer process typically because you have to specify the costs for specific items for each of 12 months. Yeah, because as it is variable cost, so obviously it is not the same every month when we consider 1 year. Yeah, so we can see also from this example that in some months it is 100, in some 300, in some months it's 400, and in some 500. Yeah, so this is what makes it variable cost. And so on. And finally, when you enter all this information, you get the projection for the cash flow for the first year of operation. I have to say that here I can stop. And I think that now we still have something like more than a half hour. Yes? How much?
We do have 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay. Well, then I spent maybe too much on this. I thought, okay. Anyways, so I think that now we have to come to this point, asking ourselves and maybe discussing how this tool can be used in higher education. Can it be used? Maybe, maybe not. And if yes, still, then how? When I was thinking about it, I see how they can be used in my study course, which is entrepreneurship, and it is obvious. But I think that we should consider also the broader context. as you can see, there are some issues from strategic management, like SWOT analysis. There are some issues from marketing as well, of course, built in, and where you plan your value and maybe your customer segments and channels, etc. And of course, something about financial projections, which is something about financial management, maybe accounting too, I don't know, perhaps. So maybe it can be used in some broader study modules and as some kind of linkage between different subjects that are taught in the study program. Well, we can go even further by asking ourselves whether this tool can be used only for management and business and maybe, okay, some economic program students, or in many different programs, including some engineering or well, these are the questions that we can discuss. And I hope that Eva and Dulce, are you here? Do you hear me?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so please, yeah, well, we all can be active in this part, and so whoever wishes, either from this audience or from Zoom, can pick up some issues, questions, or some ideas about how it can be used in the higher education process. Eva? Okay, yes. Yeah. But you can come also in front, as you wish. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. Come here.
I will just have a small contribution on how to use it. After our experience, I'm sure that we can use it also for subjects which don't have economics or management as a core issue. And specifically, we have lectures and seminars. So I think the ideal combination is that it has some kind of expert introduction, because the more you know about the topic, the more you can benefit from the tool. This is, I think, also experience of students. You can see that if they were already advanced a little bit, they can go much more into details. So I think we can introduce this in I'm talking now about the Faculty of Forestry and Wood Technologies, where we have different subjects, as you heard, and having some kind of introductory lecture and then using this in a seminar, plus giving this to students for their homework, I think is the most efficient way, because the students who gave us the most detailed feedback were those ones who actually spent hours on using the tool at home. So as a teacher, I think, or lecturer, I think you can play with the way how you can incorporate this, and you have really a lot of options. So as for our non-business studies, I think it's evident that we can use it. We have Department of Economics and Management, which is teaching economic subjects to different disciplines. So that would be the core department. Our task, now I mean the team members, would be to introduce this tool to our colleagues, which I think it's even a bigger challenge than introducing to our students, because we have to find the way how to involve our faculty members, not only our faculty, but for example, also the Faculty of Business and Economics. So we also have to think not only about students, but about our colleagues, and make some kind of events and effective form how to introduce this tool. And my question would be here, actually, this is something what we probably discussed internally. Is this a tool which will exist forever? Do we have some timeline after the project finishes that this tool will be running for next 5, 10, 20, 50, 100 years? Because I think this is also important to know for people who will use this tool, that it will actually be working. Plus, are we planning to do Asia, Africa, and outside of EU? Then it depends if we want to offer this only to European community or also outside of Europe. But let's use it. Very nice. Thank you. Maybe we can ask also our participants who are online what they think.
Anyone might have one comment. Okay, hello again. So basically, I think you also are, your organization is also a very good example of that, is that Kabada tool is actually a very good way how to teach entrepreneurship to some other sectors. So normally you would need an entrepreneurial lecturer who is standing in the front of auditorium and telling. With this Kabada tool, they can basically get the basic knowledge of the subject actually without or with smaller participation of lecturers. So it in this way it helps actually these non-business educational institutions to teach more this business. So they don't even, maybe they even don't need an entrepreneurial lecturer in their school, or they can get through with one person and cover a wider range of departments. And the same is also with vets, who are like vet institutions. They are like covering so many different spheres, and then with the help of this tool, they can also have this knowledge, like additional knowledge. Well, entrepreneurship is not only about going to the business register and registering your business. It's also about different skills like leadership, initiative, creativity, and so on. So it's like not centered so much on that somebody will do a Kabada tool and okay, so tomorrow they are having a new business, and if they are having a new business anyway, they are filling the job market, employment market, they are employed. As they go out of the school, they are self-employed, which is also like a very social added value. So basically it's this trans-sectoral added value.
Hey, anybody else wants to raise some issue? Maybe.
Hello. May I say something?
Yeah. Please.
Yeah. Hello, colleagues. I'm now from my office here. Thank you for organizing this conference, and also for presentation, Kristaps, and dear colleague from Portugal, also for your question. I would like to suggest to think about maybe new composition of consortium, or this consortium a bit updated somehow, and about involvement of third countries, because you would like to transfer knowledge to Asia or to Africa, I don't know. Because, for example, BA School of Business and Finance, and I hope you have cooperation partners in Asia, in Thailand, or in Central Asia, for example, Kazakhstan, as we have. And I would like to suggest you to design next step project to develop further this tool, to expand our knowledge and transfer our knowledge to Asia or Africa, I don't know, to these countries. I think that could be very important, and we can use the same resources. Just don't justify that we'd like to design project to keep sustainable our result. No, that should be something new and should be developed further. This is my suggestion how to go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, anybody else? Any issue related to use of the tool in higher education, or challenges with the use for the using of it?
May I add something?
Yes, Dulce.
Thank you so much. For our experience in Portugal, this is a very useful tool for both business administration and non-business administration students. The challenges are different for each one of them. Because those students who have previously studied economics, business management, etc., they find this tool very useful because of the organization of the information, and all is present in one platform, and also the easy because it's easy it's an easy to use platform. For those students who have not a background in business administration, this tool is particularly useful because it gives them some ideas. For example, the SWOT analysis, it's very useful because there are already some predefined strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and with that base, they can discuss, they can brainstorm, and come with another ideas. So for both of them, it's a very useful tool. Maybe my question is, how are we going to spread the use of the tool in our academia? Because our experience has been very good, but now we have to take a step further and try to reach other institutions as well as companies. Because today we work closely, the academia and the companies work closely, and it's also fundamental to have solutions to the problems that companies pose, and this could also be useful not only for entrepreneurship but also for entrepreneurship. This is a question that I think is really a big one.
Thank you, Dulce. Right, yeah, I think that this distribution issue and well, let's say making it to work might be a very big challenge. I don't know. Well, it's a question to our colleagues, let's say in our schools, in our universities, whether professors, teachers, lecturers are ready to, let's say, little bit spend some time on understanding and how to use the tool, and then apply in the classes. So. Well, I didn't mention that as a project is still running, now we are also recording some videos with explanations. So it might significantly help, of course, yes, by some videos demonstrating how, where, what to do. And this is still to come. But anyways, from time to time, you know, different professors, teachers, they are specified in some areas, and so they maybe are not so confident and don't feel comfortable in some other sections. So how to deal with all that? Yeah, this is a question, and especially I thought that sometimes maybe also in our school we have had for many years a discussion that the business plan at that time without any tool can be some kind of the linkage between different subjects. Like, well, in entrepreneurship course, you start with a business idea, analyze the industry maybe, but then when marketing comes, so well, you can continue by preparing marketing part with the marketing teachers, and then when you go to the financial management and accounting, so you work on the financial part of that, and maybe even more. There is something about human resource management, and so then in HR study courses, you add something from there. So the business plan is something that connects everything. And the same can be, of course, considered in the context of the tool. So I don't know, but this is one of the perhaps visions. But then it requires, of course, some knowledge on how to use it. Maybe the one of the lecturers can be the one who knows everything about the tool and can assist to other teachers, for example, and train them. So these are the questions. But maybe how about the students' perspective? What do you think about that? Would they be like happy of using this instead of, well, traditional approach to planning business? We in these testing workshops, let's say, we found very positive attitudes. So mostly satisfactory answers and comments and etc. But what do you think about it?
I think students like this type of way how to use information. I think they
one more important thing is that by filling this Kabada form, students are kind of in itself directed speed. So one who is more maybe advanced or clever, they do it faster. The ones who are want to go more in details, they search more for the information. So this tool allows to choose the speed of learning which each of the students would like to have. So this is also something that I think is very valuable and helps in the process of studying.
I have to say that there is one drawback that makes the process, especially of evaluation of work done by student, maybe even more difficult. Oh, well, because, for the student, especially for the lazy student, it's very easy. Theoretically, you can go through the tool and make your business plan in, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. It is not the case when you have to read everything on your own. Yes, everything is down there, and you just, well, click this, and you don't. I speak about like kind of lazy student who prepares a business plan in the evening of the last day before submission. And well, yeah, and then the question is how to check the quality of the chosen, the choices, yes, which the system provides, and how to deal with that.
Sorry, probably in this mandatory learning process, I believe you still keep presentations of what they have done, and then they will probably help present their choices and explain. Here, actually, the tool gives like hundreds of choices that they afterwards they basically should understand, and if they know that they will have to present, they, I believe, should somehow try to understand it. I believe the lazy one in the old version also maybe copy paste something from Google, 3 lines every section, and here, yeah, technically I have built all sections.
My answer is similar. It's good to teach students how to use artificial intelligence and different things. Also, our experience shows that it's important to leave the last step, which is some kind of oral exam or presentation. to check exactly if it's for the student and how deep he or
Why
she
did you choose this and not this?
especially the diplomat technology which you introduced, which is already used for teasing and preparation of written or all kinds of written report. I think this is the only way how you can check it.
Yeah, but basically when it's like when they go out of the real world, so if they know how to use a tool and to be successful whatever they do, then why not? Like my presentation, as I said, 80% of content was what was there in. I didn't read blog posts, I didn't read any papers. It was just this chart plus my own knowledge and opinion.
And also it's connected with social skills, how to present something. So this is another aspect, not only the knowledge, the knowledge that you have, but the way how you present your results, which is very for all professions.
Yeah, but if I would be a student and you would say that I did wrong by using this chart to prepare my presentation, I would be upset because I think it helped. And
But you have experience, you know how to present.
yeah, of course, it's like the chart will not teach me presenting. Either I read everything or I do it in this way.
And this is the difference between knowledge and skills. You know, the skills you can learn, but you have to practice. So I think the more AI we will use, the more maybe we should also dedicate to the that and skills and human presentation.
Yeah, it's like we have to keep that the node or evaluation of whether the technology how far it's going in my place or where it's helping me and where it's like where I'm using it. Like here in my presentation I still read everything what was like given out and I didn't copy like 100% of what it gave and the structure was also still mine. But of course, if I would just blindly copy and if you ask me some question and I mean, yeah, of course, then it's technology was working instead of me. The ambition, the very tricky ambition is to make that ambition work for us. But like this prohibiting it and just saying, oh, I'm afraid of this student will write all. I have played with it and I wanted please write a blog post about that. And it's not so easy. It's not like writing 2 pages long or something. So you still have to. But what I have found out is one issue, the question asked differently gives completely different answers, or it gives like some 5 points, and then you ask further. Okay, please give examples or explain more about point number 5, and then actually this chart also introduced with some alternative Kabada as well, which we couldn't find when we were writing the proposal, maybe only 1. Now it's like in 5 seconds I got 5 alternatives. And it's used, and it's actually the system is like, as it's like machine learning all the time, it hasn't learned 2022 and 2023, whatever is in the internet. So if you ask something very new, like I don't know what happened yesterday in Ukraine, it will not answer. It will say that okay, I'm not so updated. But basically, it's using what's in the internet till 21. But still, anyway, it was like the right question. Give me some examples of interactive tools for business plan assessment, and I had a list of 5. And like normally before that, I even couldn't find them.
Okay, Edward, should we finish or?
So now actually it's a lunch break up until 30 minutes past 2 o'clock because at 14:40 discussion starts. So it's up to you how you'd like to round up. We still have at least 40 minutes for lunch, so you have
Well,
a few minutes to finish. It's up to you.
anybody wants to say something still important for the youth in education? Yeah, well, the session with secondary education and vocational education was merged, so I somehow more concentrated on higher education. But if there is something left or some ideas you want to pick up, please. But still, we have to get to the final finish. Someone maybe in Zoom?
So,
Yep.
but the microphone takes here for the ones that are there.
If you want to, Giovanni, here, okay, so you can. Okay.
Yeah. No, we didn't say many things for that sector, but I think that you highlighted the dilemma that also Julius talked about before, because of the facility that you have in producing a final plan. Yeah. Okay.
Everyone can see you.
So we use this. No?
Okay.
The facility you have to produce the plan without having previous knowledge of the topic, so you can become expert, but you are not expert at the end. And so I think that this is a dilemma, because of course if you use tools, artificial intelligence tools, then you can have results without your capacities, because the system only asks you to set the environment and the system provides you with the answers. So this is the risk, that you can have the output without growing in your competencies. You can just give inputs to the system, and the system help you to have the results. I think this is a dilemma. Do we want to have this in an educational environment that provoke people to be lazy, because it's easier to find answers than to produce answers? Or we want instead force people to study, learners to study, to reach the answer? And in this regard, I think that the risk in that is even higher than in higher education, because we know that the background is lower in capacities of the students. So a university student probably have more experiences or more knowledge about specific topics than a secondary or vet learner. In this regard, my opinion is that we have to use these tools, but the Kabada tool used in a learning environment must be used with the supervision, with the idea that is the tool that highlight which are the learning path that the learners have to go through. So it's not only a matter to reach a result, but it's a matter to use the tool to understand what you have to study in parallel in the time that you are using the tool. Because the tool provides you with the answer, but the tool is also posing you questions, and you have to become able to manage the topics of the questions. And I think that the right use of the tool is not to give the tool to the student to say, okay, now you go through the tool and find the result. No, is to use the tool together and to take occasion from the steps suggested by the tool to go through the topics and to make insights and to study and to make work groups and to make a clear learning path based on the artificial intelligence use. And in this way, we can avoid the risk that the tool is just used to have a document to pass the exam and to do not understand anything about what is written in the document, in the output. And in the case that I presented this morning, the use that we are going to make not for vet learners, but for a wider audience that is composed by new entrepreneurs that can also become from vet environment, but also from university environment. This is a different matter, I think, because their target is not to make a learning path. They are entrepreneurs in the beginning of their career, so they are responsible for their own skills. Is not the institution that is responsible to bring them in a learning final step in which they will have learned something. They are responsible for themselves because they are entrepreneurs. And in this regard, what we will do, we will inform them that there is this risk to have a document, an output that is good, but it's important that they develop or they are conscious about the skills that they need to deploy then after the business plan to run their own businesses. And so we are discussing now yesterday we had this opportunity to discuss with Julius a continuation of Kabada development in regard of this capacity of the tool to highlight training needs, if the tool can be in a way used as an assessment tool. In this case, we can understand what are the training needs that can be highlighted to the user to facilitate a learning pathway in parallel to the use of the Kabada. But of course, keeping split these two dimensions. One is that in the vet sector, the institution is responsible to verify that the tool is not just used, but is used to understand the learning paths and to provoke learning experiences. In the case of the entrepreneurs that want access to the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs funds, they are the only responsible for themselves. This is my opinion on how we will using that.
Very useful comment. Yeah. So yeah, well, I think that this has to be brought into minds of teachers. It might be maybe that, well, you construct your study course by saying, okay, well, you are allowed to prepare some parts of the plan inside the tool, as far as you, well, go through some tests about the theoretical knowledge that you have received before, well, explaining and understanding what is business model canvas or what SWOT analysis is and how it has to be done, and only then, well, you do it in the system, for example. Well, but yeah. Anything else? If not, so well, thank you for participating here, for precious ideas and comments, everyone. And I would say that we can close this session and enjoy the lunch. Yeah. Okay, thank you.